What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nikki. If you're new, this is Life with Nick, and I do videos on business, lifestyle, and fashion. So today I am back with another video. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about what it's like to actually be a case manager. For those who do not know and really don't know much about me, I am a case manager. I have been working as a case manager for a little bit over a month now. So I'm here to give you guys some tips and just to give you guys some pointers on what my day-to-day routine looks like and just what the overall experience has been like so far. So before we go ahead and get into the video, if you have not already done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, and let's begin. Okay, so to begin, I do want to talk about what the overall interview process was like for me, just because, you know, why not? But so, like I said, I've been doing it for a little bit over a month now, and so far my experience honestly has been decent. I feel like it's been a lot different from what I've heard people say. I know before I started working as a case manager, I would always hear people say like they're underpaid or whatever, or the caseloads are like overwhelming, and though some of that is true, I feel like my experience has just been a little bit different, and that may be because of COVID, but I'm just here to give you guys some tips on that. So I currently work at a company here in Atlanta. I'm not going to say the name just because no, but I work as a case manager here in Atlanta. And I currently have 92 people on my caseload, which is like, when I first started, I was so scared, like, bro, what am I going to do with 90 different people? And basically what I do with those 90 different people is I handle their problems. So these 90 people are elderly, mostly elderly or disabled people who are not able to function at work, who have Medicaid. So they have Medicaid, and we have control over their services as far as their caregivers. We have to make sure that they are getting their home delivery meals, if that's a service that they have. And we also have to make sure that, you know, they're getting their ERS system, which is like the emergency system thing that you use if you fall or something and you can't get up. I've fallen and I can't get up. No, I'm just kidding, but seriously. Yeah, so we basically have control over all of those things, and we basically just have to make sure that they're getting their services. And you know how people can be. We're working with customer service. 92 out of those people I literally have to call every month just to make sure that their services are being met. So either I'm going to call them every month and I'm going to do a monthly conversation, which is me just calling them and saying like, hey, I just want to make sure your services are going good. Have you had any falls? Have you been to your doctor's appointments? So I do that. And then if they're due for a quarterly conversation, which is due every 3 months, I'll call them and I'll be like, or I'll call them and then I'll set up some time for me to actually swing by their house, drive to their house. And it usually takes about like, not even like 15 minutes. It's super quick just because people usually just want you out of their house. Like, you're a stranger. Why are you here? But I'll drive to their house, depending on where they live. It can be kind of far, but I don't mind just because the amount that I get pay is pretty decent for what the time is that I spend at their homes. So that's what I have to do. I have to make sure that they're actually picking up their phones, to make sure that I'm able to contact them, just because if they are not able to do that and I'm not able to keep up with their documents and their paperwork, then Medicaid will unfortunately cancel their insurance, their coverage or whatever. So that's what I do. I feel like it's kind of hard to describe the actual paperwork aspect just because there's so many documents. Like, for example, if I call someone for a monthly conversation and I'm like, hey, how's your services, blah, blah, blah. And they say, well, I failed this month. My caregiver sucks, so I want to replace one. Boom. In my mind, I already know, instead of me doing 2 different forms, at this point, I have to do 4. Because what I have to do is I have to notate our conversation. And then I also have to file the complaints. And then I have to notify the provider to let them know that they want to make those changes. So they want a new caregiver and that they want a new schedule or whatever it is that they want. So I basically have to do that. So it's a lot, just because, you know, I'll usually call, I'll try to get like 6 people per day. And then once I'm done talking to them, I'll just keep myself organized. I'll write down what they said in the conversation. I'll make the 6 calls back to back and then write down what I said in the conversation. And then I'll do my documentation when I'm done talking on the phone to people. So just like the in-person quarterly conversations, the monthly conversations are sometimes even quicker, like 5 minutes, just because you're on the phone and people, I call during the day. Some people are at work. And sometimes I speak to people's, daughters or sons, grandchildren, and all that. So, and a lot of times they'll be at work. So that's the way it is. So far I feel like I've been done good. I feel like I've gotten some credit, honestly, from my supervisor from saying that. And with me being who I am, I'm not the most organized person in the world. I'm not even going to lie when I say this. So if I'm able to do it, I feel like people are. I feel like the way to actually keep up with being a case manager is actually staying as organized as possible. If you are organized, that is going to make your life 10 times as easy. So, for example, if you have a schedule for that whole week, if you use Teams or whatever it is that your job uses and they have a calendar system, make sure you actually use that and you actually take advantage of that, just because that's going to make your week so much better. You don't want to wake up in the morning and be like, hey, who am I going to contact today? You know what I mean? Because you basically make your own schedule. They just give you a certain deadline and you have to actually meet that deadline, basically. And it's been a great experience. I feel like it's a lot different working with older people. I know when I seen jobs on Indeed, I kind of tried to avoid working with children, just because I feel like that is like a very touchy subject. I feel like for example, what was that documentary that was on Netflix with the little boy Hernandez or something like that? And then the caseworkers or whatever, they went to court or whatever. Ever since I seen that, I was like, look, I feel like if you want to work with children and them being safe and their actual like safety, you have to like really really be dedicated to that. Like, and I mean like dedicate a lot of your time to it, just because that's kind of people's lives being put on the line. And kids, unlike adults, they aren't able to speak for themselves and to defend themselves. Whereas if I'm calling a member where I work now, they'll be able to tell me. They'll tell me everything that's wrong. They'll give me a whole list. Look, Miss Petty. That's my last name. Don't laugh at me. But they'll be like, look, Miss Petty, I have this issue and that issue. Versus when you're working with kids, I feel like it's just a really touchy subject as far as just keeping them safe. And it's just sad. I feel like with that, I feel like I don't know. I just personally just can't see myself doing that, just because I'm very emotional. So I feel like I would get extremely invested. I feel like I'm invested in my members now, but if there were children, I feel like I would just be a little bit overly emotional and too invested into it. But I think it just depends on what your group is. Being a case manager, obviously there's different ones that you can work for. With me, you can work for Medicaid. With my job, there's also other jobs like working with kids, working for law firms, different things that you can do working as a case manager. So you definitely have your options. I just feel like you just have to actually go into working with a clear mind, forget all of the things that you heard from everybody else, and forget the fact that you have a huge caseload. Don't even look at the caseload. Just look at it like this. There's 30 days in a month. What are you going to do with that time? So just try to manage it the best way that you can. Make sure you're staying in contact with your members. Even if you just call them and be like, hey, what's up? You good? Did this get handled for you? Nice 2-minute phone call. Just make sure that you actually dedicate your time to it and just stay organized, just because once you fall behind schedule being a case manager, it's going to be extremely hard for you to catch up and to pick back up. Just because, you're worried about last month's caseloads and you're in a completely different month and you have to worry about that month's caseload now. So just the overall experience for me it's just opened my eyes, honestly. I feel like it's really my first adult job, just because so many people are really counting on me. It's insane the number of calls I get in a day, not even just doing my monthly conversations or my quarterly conversations. It's just people just calling me, and they'll call me on my cell phone, because when I first started, I didn't have my actual work number. So I was calling members on my phone, which I kind of regret now, just because they'll call me all hours of the day. But honestly, I don't mind. I feel like it kind of helps me to manage better, just because, hey, they're calling me, what's up? I'll answer no matter what I'm doing. Just because I feel like, why not just let me know now, instead of me waking up tomorrow to a million different voicemails and I'm just overwhelmed, which I can easily become that. But I would say look into it. I feel like case managers kind of are a little bit well respected. I feel like once you kind of add that to your resume, I feel like the psychology world kind of opens up to you. I feel like there's so many jobs in case management here in Atlanta. So there's endless amount of opportunity. Another thing about working as a case manager also is the fact that you only need a bachelor's degree. Most jobs, a lot of jobs that are decent paying within the psychology world do kind of require for you to have a master's degree these days. So if you are entry level like how I am and you only have a bachelor's degree, then I would definitely say look into case management. Just stay organized, stay level headed, be positive, stay in contact with your members, have a schedule, and you will be just fine. I feel like, just try not to overthink it and try not to be hard on yourself just because sometimes you're not going to be able to answer all your members' phone calls. Sometimes you're not going to be able to get their incident done within a day or so. Sometimes you may have to just tell them, like, look, you may have to wait a couple of days for this, but just know that I am on top of it and I'm going to work to get it done for you. But just don't be hard on yourself. At the end of the day, nothing comes before your peace and your sanity. So if you feel like you are not able to do it, don't do it. It's not for everybody, but just if it is for you, just be positive and be level-headed and organized, like I said. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I helped one of my fellow case managers out there just to get some clarity and just to get some, comfort with, if you're becoming new or you're someone who's new working. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Comment below some other videos you would like to see me do. I've had like a million jobs. So I would love to give you guys some tips on retail, food service, RBT. I've done it all. I've worked at Cedar Point. I've worked at Wendy's, an Asian restaurant. I have a million. I've had literally the most jobs probably in history. So I'll know what's up. If you comment below, how is it to work here? I've worked at Forever 21. So maybe I'll start a story time on what it's like working at different jobs. Honestly, that sounds like a good idea. So that's something to consider. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, that's like the third time me saying this. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.